Megan,
Oh, hello. I was over here.
I was just getting a text here for all of you guys joining right away. Actually, I should wait, but I'm not going to. I just got a text. This guy that I know is super sharp in soccer, Irish Premier Division, Shamrock Rovers. Apparently, that is a team name.
That's super
Uh,
cute. I really
rot-
like that.
the Shamrocks. I'm gonna get a hoodie for them. We're gonna start Megan. It's gonna have two Shamrocks right here.
Yes, perfect.
Rotation number 205671. Shamrock Rovers minus 125. Argentina Primera Division, Rosario Central plus 425. Rotation number 208021. He just texted me. He goes, I already bet it, so you can release it to whoever. So let's see if we can cash something like on a Friday afternoon from Central America and Ireland. Or I'm sorry, South America.
You started the show off with football. I'm gonna start off the show with football. First game we got on the slate for Sunday: Falcons Saints. I do not have a play here. I feel like it could be a definite weird spot for the Saints with not having Winston, 2-quarterback system, in and out. Falcons always play the Saints really tough with this divisional matchup, and I always seem to never take this game. Within the last 6 years that I've been betting, I've really stayed away because the Falcons always seem to pull a magic game out of their ass whenever they've needed it, especially against the Saints. So for me, this is a no play from Louisiana. Thought about teasing the Saints down, but again, I feel like the Falcons definitely have a chance to win outright, and I will not be touching it. What's up, Kels?
Look, I think this is a lay it or don't play it situation. Now, I agree with everything you just said. Divisional underdogs, I love those teams. I would love to make a case for the Falcons here, but the Falcons have some serious issues. I don't know how much longer Arthur is going to have a job. I know that he just got that job, but things have not started to progress well. This is an Atlanta Falcons team that is in a world of hurt. Flip side, you're right. Surely Sean Payton is not going to run a 2-quarterback system. Tell me he's not that stupid, right? He's not going to do that.
I don't know. Honestly, I feel like he's feeling kind of frisky or something. I don't know. From everything I've read, it seems like he's gonna be interchanging them.
I hope not. Plus, Taysom's not 100%. Look, Trevor did okay last week, but as you remember when we did the recap, I said, look, my bet wasn't on Jameis Winston or Trevor, no matter who was under center. It was on that Saints defense. I do think the Saints defense is going to capitalize because Atlanta turns the ball over a ton. I made this game.
Mike Glennon.
Yeah, right. I made this game 28-17. I think the Saints are the right side. I'm not going to touch it. I don't think. Early in the week, I wanted to lay the 5.5 with the Saints. I just need them to win this game. I think I'm going to use them as my second survivor. I know it sounds crazy. I don't think it's crazy.
I just get weirded out by this game personally, just from watching so much Saints Falcons football growing up.
For sure.
That it's it gives me weird PTSD. So Kelly was a lay it, don't play it situation. Doesn't think she'll make it to the window with this one, but might use it in Survivor. So.
Yeah, I think I used the Colts in my first one last night, Megan. I keep going back and forth because I think Miami might fuck around and lose to the Texans. I get nervous.
I thought so too with Taylor back, but I also didn't touch that game. This week, by the way, I'm going to throw this out here before we get too far into the show. This is a very weird week, especially for me trying to find that money line underdog. Unfortunately, it was +1. Now the line has moved to -2, I believe. I have to look at. We'll get into that later. But just know, again, I tried my best to find y'all.
So here's my question, Megan. Is it locked in at a certain day and time? Or is it you just have to bet that team no matter when you bet it throughout the week?
Well, I technically told them that I wanted the Niners money line. I believe it was when it was a pick'em and it was -103. So technically, It wasn't a dog.
So if I go to bet it right now,
you have to bet it where the line is. Unfortunately,
okay, that's all I was saying.
So you're gonna have to lay the juice with. I believe it's 127 now. Let me go down and check that out real quick since I just brought it up. It's -130 now. So if it sucks, but unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbled. Kyler still was sitting out practice today, so it's looking more and more like he may not play. I get the line movement, and I feel good being on the other side of it. But again, just know that whenever y'all do go bet that hoodie promo this week, it is a new hoodie. It's absolutely adorable. Well, I say adorable.
You're not even modeling it yet. I never get into your swag. There's supposedly a box en route to my house. Supposedly, I got a pin hoodie coming. I can't wait. I hope everybody bought the dip I bought yesterday. $57. We're going to the moon again. I can't fucking wait.
We've already been to the moon. Now we got to go somewhere else. We'll go.
Megan, I didn't tell you this, but this is a funny side note. Just because, like, obviously we're talking about money, not only sports. So I bought during the pandemic, late March, early April. I bought Penn and a couple other sports betting guys, like super cheap, right? Like $7, $8, $10, $11. And when I tripled my money, I sold. So I might be the biggest dumbass that works at Barstool, because now I'm buying back again at $57. But I had sold it like low 30s, like a complete and utter jackass. So it is what it is. Always buy the dip. It's gonna fluctuate, and everything's on sale this week.
Right. I'm going to hit up my brother-in-law because he is a trader and he's extremely smart. He works over in Dallas. So very smart. But back on track, speaking of money. Bills, Jags, of course, I feel like, again, this is a lay it and don't play it. It's the Bills. I'm not touching it. It's the Jaguars. I feel like the Bills are just like riddled with talent and Jaguars are not. I'm not touching it. As I said, this is way too many points for me to lay, and obviously not a teaser spot. So I just scrolled right on past it.
So I'm kind of back and forth on this one. I'm not going to get to the actual window here, Megan, but I will say this much. This is a team that, look, the Bills are going to be favored over any other AFC team, right? We know that. And here's this Jags team that just has faltered repeatedly, and they look like shit, except for teams not named the Miami Dolphins. And I took the bait with them last week and hated myself for every single moment of that game. In fact, I watched zero of it because that's how bad the Jags played. I think this is a lay it, don't play it scenario. Had the Bills not backdoored the double digits last week, I might consider it, because as I mentioned before, the double digit favorites have been crushing in the NFL this year. I think they're in the high 60% still. I think last time I looked, it was like around 67%. So my only option here is to lay it. I just can't do it, especially not against the Jags. I mean, the Jags should get the doors blown off. This should be like a 35-0 type game.
Yeah,
but
should be.
If I lay it, I know what's going to happen. So just know that I'll be looking towards the under here. As I've mentioned before, those double-digit favorites have been crushing. You know what's really been crushing? Those unders. They went 2-1 again last week. So keep an eye on them there. I will be on I believe it's 48.5 last time I looked at the Barstool Sportsbook.
Fabulous. Next we got Browns, Bengals. I am going to be on the Bengals this week, minus the 2.5. I think that the Browns are imploding right now. I think that they're trying to get rid of the cancer by cutting out OBJ. And I don't know if OBJ is the cancer in that locker room. I think there's a ton of humongous egos that are all butting heads.
Ooh.
I think it's been that way. I mean, whenever you have that many true athletes, like you have some freaks on that Browns team, but like they're so, I guess their egos just get in the way. And for some reason, they can never really play a cohesive game. Or if they do, it's like 1 in every 10 games. And so Bengals got the shit beat out of them last week by the Jets. We know that Joe Burrow is a good quarterback. He's a strong quarterback. I feel like he'll bounce back. Did they have a no? Don't say that. Bye. Yeah, no. I like the Bengals here. Browns, I think, are imploding. Mixon's been killing it on the ground. I mean, obviously, Burrow to Chase has been killing it through the air. And they're in the jungle. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna lay it with the Bengals here. I just think that the Browns are in a very shitty place, no pun intended.
Yeah, I tease the Browns here. Look, I love those divisional dogs, and this one's no different. I think it's a buy low spot here on Cleveland. Granted, wish the Cincinnati Bengals had not lost to the Jets last week, because I think we would have gotten a little bit more value. 3.5 would have been ideal. I do have over a touchdown here. That's the only way I'm going to play the Browns. Do lean towards the 2.5, but you're right, Megan. This team is in a world of hurt. There's a lot of issues, and Cleveland has not been great against the spread the last 3 seasons on the road. So as much as I want to back the Browns here, the teaser is pretty much as far as I can get to this team.
And speaking of which, happy birthday, OBJ. Happy 29th. Hopefully
I should have known he was a Scorpio. That makes so much sense. Scorpio men, God, every time.
Scorpio men. They love themselves. So OBJ, happy birthday. Shout out to you. Come back if you feel like it and play for the Saints. Now, Broncos, Cowboys. I know you're a Broncos fan. We get Dak back this week. And Cowboys are laying double digits over the Broncos. I'm not in love with this. I don't care whether Dak's back or not. 10 is a lot for a Broncos team that hasn't necessarily been bad this year. They haven't been great, but they haven't been bad. I don't think that the Cowboys should be 10 points favorites. I think this is closer to a touchdown IMO, but I could be wrong. I will not be touching it. Kelly, what's up?
Yeah, Megan, you nailed it. This should be a touchdown. The fact that the bookmakers hung 10 is because Dak's back and Von Miller's gone. Now that this Broncos team just must be cashing it in. I turn on the TV and that's what I hear. And I'm like, what? No, I think actually it was as a Broncos fan growing up, Von Miller was my favorite player. I was sad to see him go, but Von was hurt all last year. I think right now they're getting a pretty penny for him. And while he may go into LA and play at an elite level still, they weren't going to re-sign him anyway. And I think that that's the interesting dynamic there when you have these talking points, if you will. Talking point that I'm going to lean on here is Teddy Bridgewater is an underdog. Teddy Bridgewater against winning opponents, teams that are over 500. He's 10-0 against the spread. Are you out of your fucking minds? 10 points? Why? Why? Because the Vikings lost that game last week. The Vikings lost that game. The Dallas Cowboys did not win that game. Luckily for me, the Vikings still covered my teaser. That being said, let's not overreact here. This is too many points. Megan nailed it. This line should be 7.5 at the very most. The reason why it's not is because the whole world is going to tease the Cowboys. So the bookmaker said, you know what? We already know.
We're not allowing that.
Cowboys have been great against the spread. They know that everybody's going to keep going to the window with them. So they're going to make you pay a massive premium, that being 2.5 points to bet the Cowboys. I like the Broncos. You said this is a touchdown game. I think this is a field goal game. I think the Broncos may even shock the world. Now, I know I'm going to get called a homer for that one, but they may get a little.
Hey, it's okay. I took UL last night. I took UL. No worries. If you're going to be called a homer for that, let me be called a homer for my 4-point victory there. Next, another game where I think another team might be catching too many points, and that's that Dolphins-Texans game we were talking about earlier. Why are the Dolphins laying 5.5? I mean, I get the Texans have been like very wishy-washy, what the fuck is going on, but like they've still managed to hang in games. They've still managed to cover. They've still managed to, whoever it be under center, they've just been kind of chugging along and just kind of like barely meeting expectations. Meanwhile, this Dolphins team has also been wishy-washy, but I'm just not impressed with them. They haven't done anything where I'm like, ooh, yeah, I can definitely lay almost 6 with the Dolphins. Like, that sounds great. Nothing's doing it for me in this game on either side. If anything, I would take the Texans and the points.
Yeah, and Megan, that's what some of the sharp guys did early in the week. They took the 6.5, and I could not do it. Then Tyrod Taylor gets announced. He's going to be the starter. Line drops a point because that's really about the difference between himself and Davis Mills. This game's hard for me. I might use Miami in the Survivor. As I mentioned earlier, I'm kind of going back and forth trying to figure out who is not going to lose because that's the name of the game there.
Right.
But this is terrifying to me. Both 1-7 teams, and all of a sudden one is a touchdown favorite. Miami doesn't have a home field advantage. If you will, maybe in September, maybe when it's hot as hell at Sun Life Stadium and you're on the opponent's sideline melting. But these guys are from Houston. This is nothing. This is a game I don't want to touch. And I may text my partner in one of the Survivor pools and say, hey, can we not? I'm actually terrified that the Texans may fuck around and win this game. But who knows? Miami may shock the world. It may be 21-6 final, and everybody's like, oh, that's why they were 7-point favorites.
Yeah, but luckily, I'm not touching it, so I will not be a part of that conversation. Next on the docket, we have something a little interesting. Coming in fast with the Raiders, no pun intended, and you have the Giants. Giants catching 3 at home. I know you love those home dogs. And obviously the Raiders a little emotional this week, a little distracted this week, a little upset, little angry. I mean, it seems like there's a slew of emotions in the locker room. They still have the interim coach who I don't know how he's going to be able to handle interim coaching on top of handling a humongous media crisis situation here. I mean, that's just pile and pile and pile. Then you have the Giants who have just kind of been chugging along too. And I was leaning the Raiders because of just the better team, better all around, deeper. But again, with all of that shit happening on the West Coast, and then of course them traveling, even though we've talked about with these grown ass men, that shouldn't make a difference. And I think the Raiders are they off a bye? Do I know that or no? I don't know. I have to go look. But I'm not touching this game. I have a feeling that the Giants could fuck around and win this game. And if that's the case, I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, Megan, I'm looking at my notes and everything to me is telling me don't touch this game. Look, when it goes off a key number of like 2.5, right? So when the line opens, it's 2.5. The sharp guys are going to bet it to 3 almost always. But now we're starting to see 3.5s, and I'm going, what am I missing here? Everything you said makes a lot of sense as far as like a situational handicap. There's a lot going on here. And of course, the Giants looked pretty decent on Monday night, but against that Chiefs team that you and I have spoken about several times that has probably one of the worst defenses in the league, at least I would say bottom 5, depending on how you want to break it down and manipulate the data. But I don't want to touch this game. I really don't. I could see the Raiders, getting up, having a big game, taking advantage of a bad Giants team. I could see the flip side where you said they're distracted with the travel and everything else going on. The Giants maybe had a moral victory on Monday night and were able to somehow sneak out one tonight, or I'm sorry, on Sunday afternoon. Not really for me.
Also, that throwing the 12 o'clock kickoff threw me off too, because that's like 9 o'clock Raiders time. Again, shouldn't make a difference, but body clocks, you can't really control that. So
absolutely.
All right, next on the docket we have Vikings Ravens, and I looked at this game multiple times, crossed it off, like circled it, crossed it off, circled it, crossed it off. I ended up still going with the Ravens. Harbaugh is 8-3 ATS after a bye. They've had time to prepare for the Vikings. I know that, Kirk Cousins could get it down the field. Jefferson could go crazy. They could figure out a scheme to contain Lamar Jackson, but I don't think that that's going to be the case. I know that the Ravens lost a lot of their running game earlier in the year. They're still making it happen. Lamar's still making it happen. Hollywood's making it happen. I hated laying the 6 here, but I think this is a good spot for the Ravens. And I'm taking them.
I also consider the Ravens for my survivor pool this week, Megan, because I don't think they're going to lose to the Vikings. My problem is, should have Mike Zimmer have been fired for that loss to the Cowboys? I kind of think so. Does that mean that he's going to coach his ass off this week? Maybe. We've got the Ravens. Maybe you're going to be vying for your boy Odell that you were just
and
they
got their ass kicked the week prior by the Bengals. So it's like
they
Harbaugh lose bye week. If y'all don't think that Harbaugh is chewing ass right now during practice, y'all are insane.
I'm with you. I don't want to touch the Vikings, and I'm not going to touch the Vikings. My only concern is how we've seen this line start to move. Again, this is, like I told you, I'm kind of in this conundrum of how I'm going to play my second survivor leg this week. And I'm like, could the Vikings really win this game? I think that
I feel like it's either win or they get blown out. I don't think that there's in between. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't trust Kirk Cousins. I never will, never have.
Can I blame you? No, I can't. I cannot blame you for not wanting to trust Kirk. Kirk does Kirk things. I don't think that loss was necessarily on Kirk, but
they lost that game twice.
There is some 6.5s floating around there, which makes this really interesting. Most of the market is at 6. We are at 6 at the Barstool Sportsbook. I think this is another pass. Like, this is just one of those weeks where I got to channel my inner big cat and make the board love me, because I don't. I played so far. I played 5 legs of teasers, 3 which are no longer available, and I'm absolutely terrified about this Rams teaser leg because it went to 7. So now I'm just like, this is not a week I love a lot.
I'm also with you on that Rams teaser leg. Next we got the Patriots at the Panthers. Panthers are still on my DNB. I don't fuck with the Panthers right now until I can prove that they can. They prove that they can cover 3.5 at home against the Patriots. Maybe I'll think about that. But did I consider them for a teaser spot? Possibly. But I cannot bet my hard-earned money on this Panthers team right now. I also don't want to lay 3.5 with Mac Jones on the road. Again, you said it best. I don't love the board this week either. I think it's a very weird week. A lot of people like kind of chirp me for having like a favorites card this week, but I just don't like it. These are the games that I like. It's not like I was like trying to eat chalk here. Also, by the way, guys, I have been giving people money line dogs every week besides this week, which I intended to, but it just moved the other way. But yeah, I'm not touching this game. Are you, Kel?
Yeah, this is my best bet, Megan. I love Carolina this weekend. And if you ask me what my thoughts were between them and the Broncos, I would say Carolina's 1A, Broncos is 1B. I went back and forth on which one it was going to be, and I went with Carolina in a play against spot against the Pats. If you remember last week, I was on the Pats. They got the outright win for me, and I was super happy about it. But now we're asking them to lay 3.5 on the road. What do we know? Christian McCaffrey's coming off injured reserve. Maybe that's why the game is still off the board. So we're going to see what it opens back up at. Doesn't matter. I think Chuba Hubbard is going to be fine. I also think that PJ Walker is going to be an upgrade from Sam Darnold. We know Sam Darnold's not exactly this great quarterback. We thought he was week 1 versus your Saints, and especially not healthy. Little background information on PJ Walker. He was with Matt Rule when Matt Rule was the head coach of Temple before he went to Baylor. And so they know each other really well. They have a great relationship. I think that we're going to see this being one of those games where Matt Rule tries to dominate the time of possession, where Bill Belichick's just going to try to squeak out a win. Give me 3 in the hook with the home dog. I got to take it here. I like Carolina. I think they actually have a shot to win this game. Again, Patriots, great for me when they've been an underdog. Not so great as a road favorite.
I like the thought there. Again, I did think about McCaffrey coming back when I considered throwing them in a teaser, but again, I just can't do it. I will wait. I will see how this plays out. I hope that they get the outright win for you. I hope it's a no sweat. So I will be cheering for you. Chargers, Eagles up next. I considered the Chargers, but they have kind of been in a lull lately. And meanwhile, the Eagles have just kind of, and I hate to say it because, again, I'm not a big Eagles girl. I'm not a big Jalen Hurts girl, but they've just been chugging along one game forward, 3 steps forward, and they've been improving. And then you have the Chargers again traveling west to east, and I don't know. It seems weird. Eagles could look. I think they've lost every home game, so they're bound to win one, right? It's the Eagles. People love the Eagles. Their crowd. I've never been there, but I'm sure their crowd gets super rowdy. I'm not touching this game either. Thought about the Chargers, but I can't back the Chargers right now until they have another really good game.
Megan, their crowd gets so rowdy, they have a jail at their stadium. And no, I haven't been there.
We go.
I've been to the stadium, but no, I have not been to the jail. So let me preface that. I do know some people that have been to that jail. That being said, it does get rowdy, but this Eagles team sucks. Nobody wants any part of this Eagles team. Right now, as you mentioned, the Chargers have some bumps they got to get through. I'm not willing to lay points with them on the road. I'm not taking the 1.5 with the Eagles. I mentioned that there were several spots where I did bet teasers, and the Eagles are in a teaser with the Browns. That's still available. You can still bet that. That's what I would recommend doing with this team. I have a ton of teasers this week. And actually, I know we haven't fully talked about this game, but I just saw that now we have a 2.5 with the Cardinals. I will be putting the Cardinals in another teaser. You can put the Cardinals with the Eagles as well, along with the Browns. So this is kind of one of those teaser weeks where I'm going to do with what's been working for me. These teasers have been crushing, and I'm going to hope that they continue to do so.
Was that 3.5, or is that 2.5? Wait, I'm sorry. Was that 2.5 at the Barstool Sportsbook? We're still at 2 at the Barstool Sportsbook.
It'll be 2.5. Don't you worry. And 2 is still an appropriate teaser spot. Anything over 1.5 will fulfill any needs that you may have.
Okay, so no play on Eagles Chargers, except for you did catch the Eagles at a good number earlier in the week and tease them.
And you can still tease them because at 1.5, it's still going to get you up over that touchdown. I think it's worth the shot here, at least me personally.
Especially with them being at home. I agree. Cardinals, 49ers, I mentioned this earlier. This line has been all over the place. It's gone from +2 to now all the way to -2 for the Niners. I believe it was +2. Maybe it was +1.5.
Yeah, it was +2.5 actually when it opened, Megan. And then the Kyler questionable news came out. We saw 1.5. Pick'em was what you and I spoke about the other day as well.
Right. So again, I have the Niners on the money line right now. It's -130. Hopefully you have been racking up and, keeping care of that bankroll that we've been when we've been taking all these dogs, right? So all these money line dogs, you should have a little extra money to pay for this money line this week. Unfortunately, it has moved to where it's juiced. That was not my intentions. My intentions were to give you a dog and to give you a winner. And I still think this is the right side. I still think this is San Francisco's game to win. I think Jimmy G looked good last week. They are becoming a little bit more cohesive. Kyler in or Kyler out. You still don't have JJ Watt. I don't know. I think this is going to be a little rough patch in the Cardinal season. These next couple of games with Kyler being with JJ being out. I just think it's a good spot for the Niners here. And again, I have them on the money line. I think I put it out at, I want to say it was like -120 at the time, maybe 117. I gotta go look at my what I put it out at. But yeah, now it is -2 and juice to -130. So again, win or lose, you do get a hoodie, and they're new this week, and they're beautiful, and I think that you will all absolutely love them. But yeah, you'll have to pay a little bit of juice. My apologies.
It happens, especially when you're giving out stuff early in the week. Things move. I tell people all the time, bet early, bet often, because the closing line in the NFL is the sharpest line of any market. So just remember that. So congratulations to you. Having a good number on the Niners. I think at this point in time, I only have an option to tease the Cardinals.
Which, look, I could potentially do that and get
Danny Rondu said the Eagles don't have a jail at their stadium anymore. Okay, I'm sorry. It's been a while since I've been there. Also, why would you get rid of it? Why would you get rid of it? You need to put some of those people in jail. They're insane.
All right. Do you have? So you said you're teasing the Cardinals. Do you think that the Niners win this game?
I do. I do think the Niners turned a corner in Chicago last week. I think Jimmy G went out there, won that game, covered that game. George Kittle's back. I think that's a huge upgrade. I know he's not going to probably be 100%, but he will be back. And the good news is that even if he's not, he's going to take some of that double team pressure off Debo and really be able to open up that offense. And I think that that's how we're going to see this one play out. I think this is going to be a close game that the Niners inevitably end up winning. But again, if you're laying 2.5 with the Niners now, 2 still over at the Barstool Sportsbook, you're late to the party. So if Megan's still offering you a cheap money line, that is the better route at -130.
Thank you, Kelly. Again, I hate giving out these juice plays. It's not my thing. I don't like to pay a lot of juice. I try to get you guys some solid bets. But unfortunately, this one just went the other way this week. It's a weird week, whether it's being immune, whether it's having ankle injuries, whether it's whatever. Just a weird week, guys. Speaking of being immune, Packers, Chiefs, A-Rod is out. You have Love. Love is going to play, right? Jordan Love.
Yes.
And then you have this Chiefs team that we've literally just gone week by week by week. And it's not necessarily the offense. It's really the defense. I mean, the offense hasn't been great. The whole team just hasn't been great. It's been an extremely just lackadaisical season for the Chiefs. I don't necessarily get it. But I also don't get why they're laying 7.
Yeah. In what world, Megan? I understand Aaron Rodgers is out, but you want to tell me Aaron Rodgers is 9.5 points to the betting line? 9.5 points. What quarterback is worth 9.5 points? There's not in the NFL. We just spoke about Kyler Murray and the drop off to Colt McCoy, and it's probably a couple of points, which is why it's moved that. It may be 2.5, 3, but I think you start to see an overreaction. This is the biggest overreaction on the board. I'm sorry. You mentioned everything that's wrong with the Chiefs. Let me tell you, the good news for Patrick is that his defense sucks so bad, it's taking away about how bad he's sucking. You know why he's sucking? because he's got a lot of off the field distractions. You know why else he's sucking? Because his own line sucks. And Tyreek Hill can't catch the ball.
That's so weird.
All of a sudden, his security blanket and Tyreek Hill has butterfingers. I'm sorry. Luckily
weird.
for them, that defense is really distracting from a lot of the offensive issues. 7.5 points with the worst against the spread team, fine. If they blow the Packers out, fine. But if you have the Chiefs at pick 'em, you have the Chiefs at -2.5, good for you. But if you are going to go lay 7.5,
Chiefs in a teaser spot here. Originally, earlier in the week, before the Aaron Rodgers news, Green Bay was going to be my money line play. That was going to be the play. I loved Green Bay against the Chiefs this week with Aaron Rodgers in. Unfortunately, I don't know if Love is going to get the outright win here, right?
No,
I'm shocked if he does, but I'm not going to put I wasn't willing to take a plus 255 with Jordan Love money line for the hoodie. I couldn't sell that to the people.
No, you can't. And it's unfortunate. I gave you a couple money lines, and I agreed with you on the Niners
earlier.
Yeah. So look, I'm with you. Look, you can tease the Chiefs. If you have a 7.5, you can tease them down to 1.5. I will say this. I thought it was really interesting. We saw some buyback from the 7.5, where a lot of the market is at 7. And that's something to consider here, because that means that key number of 7.5 means so much more. The number one spot the games land in the NFL is 3. The number 2 spot is 7. The number 3 spot is 6, and so forth. That being said, if you're laying 7.5 with the Chiefs, you're a complete and utter jackass. Either lay 7, which is available at the Barstool Sportsbook -112 currently, or if it's 7.5, your play is the Packers. And that's something that I really want to reiterate to people. We gotta remember here. We gotta be laying the right numbers, because those, let's say you bet at the end of the year making 100 NFL games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you go 53 and 42, and you have the rest as a push, right? Fine. Those pushes are going to keep you profitable. But let's say you go 53 and 47. With the juice, you're not making any money.
Correct.
That's fine. You got some entertainment for the year, but for the rest of us, those pushes that land on those key numbers are going to define you. Or those winners by the hook are going to absolutely make your bankroll. And that is something that is really, really smart, and something that took me a long time to learn, Megan. Trust me, I want everybody to learn from all of my mistakes, whether it be on Twitter, whether it be in real life, whether I'm making really bad financial decisions with my bankroll. Trust me, I've got a lot to teach everybody in my old age.
Oh, hush. All right. So as I said, cheese the Chiefs. I tease the Chiefs. And they've been a great teaser spot. Like all they've been having to do is win, and they've been doing that. Hopefully the week will be the same result, and I will be teasing them with a game we're going to talk about next, which is the Titans and the Rams. I teased the Rams down, so they also just need to win. Question: what do you think Derrick Henry's worth?
Ooh. Well, the biggest question is Megan, what the thing that we have to think about is this: is not only what is Derrick Henry worth, but what is he worth compared to his backup, right?
Right.
So that's the thing we talk about with quarterbacks, right? And we don't talk about that as much. Now, the Rams team, I'm looking at this. Okay, look, this is how I see it. He is probably worth 3 points. Let's call it 2.5.
Okay.
They were still able to get the win without him last week. What is it going to change to the Titans' game plan is the real question. And that's what concerns me here, because Ryan Tannehill, a little bit back and forth. We all know I love Mike Vrabel, but I think this is also an overreaction. I will say
AP is the backup, right?
Yes. Well, he is now.
So
and that's
like,
the guy's my age, isn't he? Isn't he like the same age as me? I feel like
I was gonna say, I remember the first time ever playing fantasy football, and I had AP, and I thought it was like the deal. I was like, I'm taking all AD all day. Let's go. Like, I was so pumped. And like now he's like, I don't know, like 35. I'm running back years. He's like 75.
In running back years, he is like 75. Look, I think the 7 in the hook is too much. If you can get 7 in the hook with Tennessee, I think it's the right side. I did tease the Rams at 7.5. down to -1.5. The scary thing here is that a lot of the market moved to 7. And I'm going, wait, what am I missing here? Look, this is a Rams defense that after last week, picking up Von Miller and absolutely doing what the Rams do best, the whole world wants to give them the Super Bowl, the Lombardi Trophy already. And I think we need to pump the brakes because the Bills are going to win that. I do have a 12-1
also,
ticket
that
on them.
was, I want to throw that out there. People, I like to make jokes. So when I tweeted not to overreact, but the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl, that was a joke. So I just wanted to let y'all know.
I understood your sarcasm. Reading is really hard, especially on social media. People tend to not do that very often.
Yeah, and they'll read like half of it and not like read the rest of it. And it's like, if you read the rest, you might get the joke. But don't worry about it. Don't use your education. You definitely don't want to read.
In theory, I do think that the Titans still should be able to get the running game going. I think it'll be fine. I do think this is too many points, and I do think this is a big-time overreaction spot. I mean, look, the line was 4, Megan. So when I said that I thought that Derrick Henry's probably worth 3 points, 3.5 points is too much, which is why we've probably seen it back to 7. I will probably be on the Titans if I can still find a 7.5, and those are fading very, very fast.
Also, fun fact, Adrian Peterson is 36 years old, so we were close at 30.
I said we were the same age. You thought I was lying. I know. We were in college together, Megan.
That's great. I was in college with Dak.
Listen, it's no shock that
everyone knows when I went to school, though. Everyone knows when I graduated, thanks to the dozen, so y'all can shut the fuck up. So, okay, this was the Friday edition of Money Shots. We'll talk about the Bears-Steelers on Monday. Kelly, do you have your tweets out yet as far as all of your games, or what do people need to look for?
So I really fucked around today, Megan. Unfortunately, my little Frenchie was in the doggy ER last night, so I waited a little bit longer.
Frenchies, man. I feel like they're always in the ER with something.
Adopt, don't stop. This is my one thing I'd like to say. I have a Ferrari that lives in my office in a dog bed. Unfortunately, hopefully I'm going to go get her this afternoon. But she had a little breathing episode. And so I kind of got a little distraction. But in my point, I had somebody DM me on Instagram, and he goes, stop releasing your parlay on Thursdays. You always win when you release it on Fridays.
Yeah, you said that. So Fridays.
So I did film it right before this. I actually just got an email from our good producer, Jack Mack, saying it's ready. Post it. I said, okay, I will. I'm going to download it right now, put it on Instagram, get it on Twitter. And so everything will be out within the next 20 minutes.
Fabulous. And my whole card's out, college and NFL. As I said, we have new merch this week. I dropped that. So if you want to go over to my page and check it out, it is a Barstool Sportsbook hoodie. I believe the front is a patch. Super cute. Ooh. And then on the back, it says positive vibes only. And it's a hoodie. So we're back to having pockets and hoods, still hoodie season. You don't want to miss out on that one.
I don't know, man. That crew neck that I've been wearing a lot, the one that says don't be afraid to fade yourself, is pretty awesome. Maybe they'll bring back your crew neck since I didn't get one.
Well, I'll make sure I'll hook you up. I'm
going to be in Pennsylvania next week, so I can actually bet at the Barstool Sportsbook again. Every time I'm in like Michigan or Illinois, it's really easy. Not that easy, as we all know, in Las Vegas. But I'm hoping that I can bet Megan's hoodie and I can get one because her dogs have been 6-2 on the year.
6-2. Hopefully this won't be a dog, unfortunately, but hopefully we'll still get a win here with a rather reasonable money line with the Niners. And I haven't taken the Niners, I don't think all year, maybe but once. So let's go. Jimmy G, I need you to step up big time. And yeah, so I hope y'all have a great weekend, a great Friday. Hopefully it's profitable, bet responsibly, and only at the Barstool Sportsbook, obviously.